Lovely. In the previous episode, we learned how to set up some data with DrizzleKit and PostgreSQL. So now we'll see how we can query it in one of our pages here. So let's head over to our homepage. There we go. I like to use Control P to quickly navigate over to something and then just type it and hit enter. Yeah. And then let's also close this bar as well to the left. Lovely. So again, since this is a server component, what we can do is just mark this as async and then fetch that data directly from Drizzle. Now, how can we fetch that data? Well, this is where I want to introduce you to something called server actions. Server actions allow you to write server code in just a simple function, mark it that it should only run on the server, and then execute it in any server component that you want. Even in client components, you can use it actually, which we're going to see. But let's create one. So the convention I like to use is, well, we have our app. Sorry, you're not going to see that. We're going to have our app. We're going to have a server. And inside the server, I'll also make a new folder called actions. I'll try to keep this as simple and clean as possible. So let's say we want to query the posts. So I'll say get posts .ts. Okay. Now here is a new keyword that we're going to see called use server. This is going to make sure that the functions that you create in here, these server actions, are only going to be executed on the server. So what I can do here is actually import my database, and that will work. You don't need to add index here at the end. It's automatically fine if you just do server, because your root file is going to be indexed. So we have our database imported. Here, let's export. Let's export default an async function. And I can call this get posts. What do I want to do here? Well, I can const, let's say posts, get these posts, await. So now check this out. If I do db.query, I can add .post, and look, it gets automatically recognized from my schema. And here, I'm just going to say find many. And the way I like to work with this is I can do a check here if we have the posts, because we might not have any. So if we don't have posts, all right, if something went wrong, we can just return an error object here and say, hey, no posts have been found. Otherwise, we can just say return an object called success, and we can call this all the posts. Okay, and I believe this actually has, yeah, that's it. Okay, so hopefully this is clean and simple enough for you to understand. We're just querying, find many is going to return all the posts. We're checking before here to make sure that we do actually have the post. If we don't, we're just going to return an error object. Otherwise, we're going to return a success post. Okay, and now we can just execute this in a server component. In this case, let's do it in the home. So let's say const data equals await get posts, just like that. And that's it. If we console log this out, we'll be able to see that our data is actually coming back. There we go. Nice, well done. Now here you can, what about error handling, right? Let's say like something happens here, like how do we handle all of that? So for example, I'm just gonna remove this here. And as you can see, if I just console log this out now, it's going to give me back the error object, which is fantastic, because I can destructure this and pull out the error and the success, right? So now I can just check if there is an error, I can throw that error message. So I can say throw new error. And remember what happens when you throw an error? That gets caught by your error TSX file. Okay, so if I throw an error, I can even pass down the error message here that we're getting back. I think it's just error now because it's just a string. Correct. Okay. Otherwise, here, of course, if success, then we can just continue with the rest of the code here. We're not going to do the time. Rather than that, we're going to loop over all the posts here like that. And when we're looping over, you're also going to see that, hey, look, check this out. We're actually getting autocomplete. Post, like that. So if I do div here, I can add a key to this of post ID. Now, it looks like it's not mapping over it for some reason. Something is definitely wrong. Oh, we need to mark this as no, like that. Okay, there we go. Post ID, and here let's just add a h2 that's gonna render out the post title for us. And there we go. So let's hit save. Let's refresh the page, and there is our data. So as you can see now, when we hit refresh, it's gonna catch the error page is gonna catch that for you. And again, you can customize this if you want now. So something went wrong, post not found, but we can go to the error page right here. We can just say that first of all, right? Post not found. And then we can do something like this maybe. Class name, just follow me along for a sec. We'll say width full, min height, full, and we'll say flex with items in the center, justify in the center, and flex call. And there we go. As you can see now, that moved a little bit. The height here, let me just set a normal height. Min height should have a minimum height of maybe like 56 or something like that. And text large, right? So you can customize this any way you want. That's gonna be it for this one. I'll stop right here. Let's just modify this quickly back so it's not broken. So let's head back to our get post action, remove this error bool, and we'll just say if there's no posts, return that error for us. Lovely. Let's refresh this. Should work fine. Nice. In the next episode, I'll show you how we can modify this data.